The gloves are off. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has launched a direct verbal assault on President Trump's new car tariffs, warning the world that everyone will lose. It's not just a spat about steel and sedans. It's about the future of global trade, the unraveling of old alliances, and a brewing economic clash between the U.S. and Europe. So what's really behind Trump's latest tariff push? Why is Germany panicking? And could this spark the next global trade war? Let's break it down. President Trump has announced sweeping new tariffs on foreign-made automobiles, hitting imports from Europe, Japan, and South Korea, with Germany as the biggest target. The reasoning? In Trump's words, "We're tired of subsidizing other nations' industries while they flood our markets with their cars." Under the new rules, cars made outside the U.S. will face a stiff import tariff, possibly up to 25%. The White House claims it's about protecting American manufacturing, boosting domestic jobs, and finally balancing the trade deficit. But Europe, especially Germany, isn't buying it. At a press conference in Berlin, Chancellor Olaf Scholz didn't hold back. "Tariffs in isolation do not create prosperity. They destroy it," he said. He warned that these measures would hurt not just Europe, but the United States too, adding that everyone will lose from a trade war. This wasn't a generic diplomatic statement. It was a strategic message to both Washington and Brussels. Scholz is framing Trump's move as an attack not just on Germany's economy, but on the global economic system itself. Here's why Scholz is sounding the alarm. Germany isn't just any car-producing nation. It's the beating heart of Europe's auto industry, home to global giants like BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen, Porsche, and Audi. In 2023 alone, Germany exported over $30 billion worth of cars to the United States. These aren't cheap sedans. They're high-margin luxury vehicles that support millions of German jobs, fund government programs, and anchor the EU's industrial ecosystem. A 25% tariff would be a massive blow to that system. It would hike prices for American consumers, crush German automaker margins, destabilize EU supply chains, and trigger retaliatory tariffs from Europe. In short, it would start a trade war Europe can't ignore. At the heart of the conflict is a philosophical divide. Scholz and the EU are defending a global system built on rules-based free trade. They believe in multilateralism, WTO arbitration, and mutual market access. Trump doesn't. He believes the system is rigged, favors foreign manufacturers, and has hollowed out America's industrial base. He wants bilateral deals, reciprocity, and protection for U.S. workers. So when Trump slaps tariffs on German cars, it's not just about economics, it's about ideology. Scholz is defending the global order. Trump is attacking it. And now the collision is unavoidable. The European Commission isn't sitting idle. They've announced they will lead the EU's response, which could include filing legal challenges at the World Trade Organization, imposing retaliatory tariffs on American products, fast-tracking trade agreements with China, Latin America, and other U.S. rivals, cutting regulatory cooperation with U.S. auto firms operating in Europe. This isn't just posturing. The EU has already drawn up a targeted retaliation list, which includes American motorcycles, bourbon whiskey, agricultural goods, tech components. The goal? Maximize political pain for Trump in key battleground states ahead of 2024. The last time Trump started a trade war, in 2018, the world economy took a hit. Markets tumbled. Supply chains crumbled. Consumer prices spiked. Now, with inflation still lingering and growth slowing, another trade war could push the global economy into stagflation. Here's what could happen next. German automakers cut U.S. production. American farmers lose access to European markets. EU shifts more trade to China. U.S. allies fracture, forcing smaller nations to pick sides. It's not just tit for tat. It's systemic collapse of trust in global trade norms. Ironically, the biggest winners might not be in Europe or America. They might be in Beijing. China would love to see the transatlantic alliance fracture. If Europe turns to Chinese EVs and parts to offset U.S. costs, it strengthens Beijing's grip on global industry. At the same time, China could position itself as the new champion of free trade, a role the U.S. used to play. In the long run, Trump's tariffs might protect Detroit, but they could also push Berlin and Brussels straight into Xi Jinping's arms. Some critics say Scholz is overreacting. After all, German automakers already have plants in the U.S., BMW in South Carolina, Mercedes in Alabama, VW in Tennessee. Why not just shift more production to America and dodge the tariff? Because it's not that simple. The tariffs still hit German-made cars, which are a huge part of their export economy. Setting up new production is expensive and slow. It sends a message that Germany has no leverage, which is politically unacceptable. For Scholz, this isn't just about cars. It's about sovereignty, economic power, and political credibility. So what's Trump's endgame? Some say it's pure protectionism. Others say it's leverage, to force the EU to give up regulatory control over U.S. tech firms, environmental standards, or defense spending. Whatever the reason, Trump sees trade as a weapon, not a partnership. He doesn't want equilibrium. He wants advantage. And if that means cracking Germany's auto industry to win, so be it. The battle lines are drawn. On one side, the European Union, led by Scholz, defending decades of multilateral trade and global interdependence. On the other, Trump tearing it down to protect American manufacturing and punish foreign competitors. And caught in the middle? Consumers, workers, and industries across the globe. This isn't just about cars. It's about what kind of world economy we want to live in. One built on cooperation and rules, or one ruled by tariffs and brute force. What do you think? Is Trump right to protect American industry with tariffs? Or is Scholz correct? Will everyone lose in this fight? Drop your take in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and smash that bell for more hard-hitting breakdowns on global trade, politics, and economic warfare. This is Libertarian Uncensored, where we don't just watch the headlines, we decode the game.